Morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Talk. Bran is tied up in budget meetings. I'm sure he would much rather be here with us. So we have, is this working?
Yes.
Yes, it is? Okay. So we have a guest speaker today, Dr. Scranton from the Brain Fitness Centers of Florida, and we'd like to call him up. Some of you may be familiar with his program.
Is there a handheld up there, Lauren?
Is this working?
It's a button at the bottom.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Scranton.
Now that the mic's working. You got it?
How do I advance the slide?
Right here, we'll advance it.
You'll advance it for me?
Yes.
No extra charge. Well, good morning.
morning.
Dr. Steve Scranton, Brain Fitness Centers of Florida. We were here a few months ago in an effort to tell you a little bit about brain and brain rehab and making your brain better. This time, what I'd like to do is show you the numbers that we generate when we go through a basic test and what that tells us about what we're going to offer you for rehab. Also to show you what happens when people go home. Oftentimes they want to continue doing this program at home with our assistance. We look in on them from time to time. Anyway, the whole idea is to try and foster a better brain, more independence longer, and a happier life. And that's usually what 80% of the people find when they finish the program, is that they're happier, they're more self-assured, they're more outgoing. So, you want to give me the first slide?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to have two patients here. I'm going to try and do this in maybe 5 or 10 minutes so we don't put you to sleep. But the first patient, these are both from Regency, by the way. First patient is a gentleman in his late 80s. He was having some problems beginning in 2015 when he had a screening brain test and found he didn't do as well as he should have. And over the next 5 years, he progressively noticed more problems, more domain problems. So what we have here is what we have here is 13 different areas of brain function that we're studying. Working memory, for example, that's a short-term memory, and it's not a valid score because when it was done, the patient took the question and answered it 3 or 4 different ways, so it's invalid. But for the rest of them, it looks like we have 10 valid scores. Executive function is decision-making, processing speed, reality testing, multitasking. So these are the things that we're testing. After rehab, then we retest. Because it's a functional test, you can't compare this with this exactly, this with this, because you may not have understood the question, or it may be a bad day, or you missed a click. But it gives us an idea of where the holes are, so after the rehab, if you're interested in doing it at home, we know which programs to select for you, which protocols to use. Next. One of the tests we do is called a quantitative EEG. And this is not a functional test. This is actually a brainwave test, but it's very new. We take 12 different areas of the brain. We take 450 waveforms, and we average them for this site and average them for that site, and then we get an idea of the different parts of the brain and how it's working. In this gentleman's case, going down to the very bottom, we see that he has some injury to the front of his brain. We go up a little bit higher, and we see these are the areas that he is specifically not functioning in. Prefrontal function, the front of the brain is working quite right. His remote long-term memory, his ability to have attention to what he's doing, and also attention to things around him, and also his decision making. Okay, next slide. There's a lot of things we can tell from that study. So he's gone through the program, 25 sessions, and he has improved, we call it the working memory, but really it's your short-term memory, focus and concentration, decision-making, multitasking. And he has improved those things by 30%. That's 30 real percent. And you maintain about 60% of that at 5 years. Other areas that we exercise because of the previous exit test, attention, his brain speed, and his long-term memory. And those have improved also by 30, 28, and 22%. So if he was younger, like maybe in his 60s, I would expect 40% improvement. Okay, so he goes home, and the areas that we have selected now are attention, his long-term memory, and intelligence. Now he's done this for about 2 months, and we see that he has additional improvement in brain function, 34, 32, and 36. Okay, next. All right, let's go back to the last one. So the point of this being that when you do the rehab, you basically go up the hill. You go up a hill, and then when you go home, you go up another hill, and you continue to do that until there's no more improvement. An important point is that this form of therapy is the only form that has shown to reduce the rate of mild cognitive impairment, which we all have in this room, keeps people from going from mild cognitive impairment to dementia by 29 to 37%. That's a lot, considering that there's the supplements that people take, they do nothing, but this does. And again, people come out of the program, they're happy, they're gregarious, they're more outgoing. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is a lady that first came to me in 2009. And she thought that she was having problems. But as we go down the percentile score here under initial, we can see that most of them are pretty good. She has one that's off. So she was encouraged to go home, exercise, watch her diet, socialize, get involved in activities. So she came back after 10 years, and she said, I've been slipping. Up at the very top, you have neurocognitive index. The index is an overall picture of how am I. For her, a normal value would be 75. She was 79 in 09, and here she is, coming 10 years later, she's at 27. So she had slipped quite a bit. And as you look down at her numbers, you see they're not the same. So she goes through the program, and we're able to get her from a 27 to a 47 percentile, which is pretty good. And her numbers generally look better. Next. Here's her QEEG. It tells us that there's no evidence of injury, but the areas electrically that are not working are her brain speed, executive function, which is decision making, and focal attention, and other issues up there. Okay, next. So, a rehab summary, 34% improvement in her working memory, and 30 and 36% improvement in attention and brain speed. So this is the in-office. Next. So when she goes home, she has improved her attention and brain speed quite a bit. She's now in the 82nd and 83rd percentile, but her intelligence has really not gone up at all. So we give her the option of an additional 2 months at home, just working on intelligence, just focusing on intelligence. Multiple protocols we have for intelligence. Okay, next. And that's basically how we do it, folks. We get the numbers, we go after the low-hanging fruit, we make it better, and then we encourage people to maybe at 1 or 2 years come back and just double-check a test and make sure they're not slipping. Any questions? Good. Oh, yes, sir.
Have sessions does it take to do all that testing?
The testing, the testing, it takes 2 to 3 sessions. But the rehab takes about 25. We look at the patient after 6 sessions. We make sure that we have the right protocols and that they are improving. If they're not improving and we still have the right protocols, then that's the end of it. We don't want to waste anybody's time.
How long are the sessions?
1 hour, 3 days a week. If you try and do less, it's like going to the gym less. You get less benefit. So, very good. Well, thank you for having me here today.
Thank you.
Dr. Scranton's associates are here in the back of the room, and they will be having pamphlets available, and if you want to give them your contact information, they can call and set up an appointment for you. Robin Graham wants to come up and talk to us about a very popular subject, voting.
Good morning, Regency Oaks. Hi, everybody. How many of you all received the AARP publication that they have in the mail? A number of you, but not all of you. How many of you had a chance to look at it so far this month? A couple of you. Did you see what they said about the voting? I'd like to summarize that for you because I think you'll find this interesting. In 2016, and I guess in the primaries too, voting splits. I'm sorry. Voting splits very evenly in the state of Florida. It splits between independents and Democrats and Republicans. It's about a third for each. Florida's unique that way, I think. And I've seen that also in the publications that I've been getting from the Election Commission as we've been getting ready for this. I don't know what effect the pandemic is going to have on those numbers, but I suspect it will have some effect. I suspect another thing that splits very evenly is where people vote. About a third of them vote by mail, about a third of them vote in person, and about a third of them go to early ballots to vote early, okay? So again, those are 2 interesting overlaying statistics that relate to Florida, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with those. I've had some questions already about where are we going to be able to vote if we do decide that we want to vote in person, but in advance, and that is strongly encouraged by the Election Commission. There will be 5 locations in Pinellas County. We will have those for you right after the 1st of October. I haven't done it now because it's not important now, but there are 5 in Pinellas County that you'll be able to participate in if that's interesting to you. Now, there's a mailing going around. Maybe some of you have seen it. If you have, I'd like to see it. That has been put out by, I'm not sure who, I think it's a federal level position or federal level mailing. It says for the first time, Florida will contact every eligible voter who is not registered to provide information on how to do that. The outreach is being done through the Electronic Registration Information Center, a consortium of 30 states, and the District of Columbia that seeks to identify duplicate registrations, etc. Okay? So if you get one and you have any questions about it, bring it down to the voting desk that we've got going. We'll have it today from 2 to 5 in the North Building, and then we'll have our last one on next Thursday, not this Thursday, but next Thursday in the morning over there in the South Building. My next effort for you is going to be to identify the, let's see, we've got 6 constitutional amendments and 4 initiatives. And I want to get Andrea and I are going to get the information on that for you and help you figure out how you can read up on it and make your own decisions. That's apolitical, and I just think you'd like to know. And we'll have further information on how to research, how to vote, how you choose to vote in the future. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Appreciate it. Tiffany, would you like like to come up and share your information with the group?
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Good. So I just wanted to go over a few matters with programs. On September 24th, which is next Thursday, as we did last month, we had our RO experience that was Viva La Mexico. So moving forward, we'll be changing it up as much as possible. So this month we will be doing the RO football tailgate. Football just started, so each director, same as last month, will have a different theme at each table. We did get comments last time that the social distancing wasn't as great as it could have been, so we will be working on that this time. It's a work in progress. As well as we will still have our raffle basket, open bar, as well as food. So please stop by next Thursday, 3:30, same format as we had the last time, and wear your favorite team, or just please come down and enjoy yourself with us. As well as today in the Breezeway at 3 p.m., we will be celebrating Grandparents' Day with our ice cream social. With social distancing, we've been trying to do a better job at having more outside events for our residents. So please stop by, get your drumstick, and say hello to any of the directors there. This Friday, we will be recognizing Lucy in the marketing department. She is actually being awarded as the #1 sales consultant for last year in our entire company. Yes, that is fantastic. So we will be celebrating the marketing department on top of Lucy. So if you see her, please congratulate her. She does a phenomenal job. I'm pretty sure everyone in this room knows exactly who she is. So we're celebrating her this Friday. So if you see her, congratulate her and tell her we said thank you. She does a great job. Also,
Where?
I think it's just for the marketing team on Friday. I'm not sure. I'll get some specific details on that. But I do know that we're having like a luncheon on Friday for her. Perfect. Also, Brent wanted to mention that he was notified that last week there were mailbox inserts regarding the topic of voting. He is aware of that, as well as we like to remind our residents that this is your home. The in-house mailbox is available for any person. So if anyone wants to put something in there, whether it's happy birthday or welcome to Regency Oaks, because they are open to the public, we are allowing that. With it being an election year, we're allowing our residents to have their freedom of speech in however that looks. So he is aware of that. He wanted to make sure to bring it up at Tuesday Talk. I think that is it for me. Yes, ma'am.
Tiffany, I want to ask you, is it possible that you can have a group together like this to talk about scam, fraud? I know that most of us here in some way have been, tested to it. So, and I was myself. What I'd like to do is ask you to have someone from the police department or someone from there that can come up here and talk to the people. Let us know what we have to do or what we can do to try to avoid all these things. I think it's very important because I don't think anybody knows really that much what to do.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Rita. So to repeat the question, she asked if we're able to have anyone here on campus to discuss the topic of scams, what it looks like to be scammed, how to avoid scams and things of that nature. And I can definitely look into that for you, Rita.
Can't we do something like that?
Yes, ma'am. I'll make sure to call our local department. They have a special department for fraud and scam and things of that sort.
Have them come down.
Yes, ma'am. So even if they're not actually here on campus, we can do something via Zoom or on the screens like this, and at least they can give you some tips and tricks to be able to avoid that type of situation.
I'm sure that they would come.
With COVID, we're trying to alleviate how many people come on campus.
Oh, well.
But we can still have them via Zoom, FaceTime, so that you can still get that information provided. Yes, ma'am.
The police department, they should come.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We had somebody here from the police department, Florida department, a couple of years ago, and that was really good.
Yes, ma'am. We'll make sure to have him back. I think I was here at that point. Do we have any questions?
What's the status of the Protestant preacher coming back?
He will be here. Pastor Pastor Chuck will be here the first Sunday in October. The question was, when is Pastor Chuck coming back? He will be having services the first Sunday in October. Yes, ma'am.
One of the residents had a reason to press her emergency button at the weekend. She's now in the hospital, but it didn't work. And I thought that was very dangerous. And another lady tried hers, that didn't work either. So, I mean, this is scary, and you could end up getting a family wanting to sue Regency Oaks if their loved one were to die or fall on a staircase or something. They should work, and so when can we expect to have them looked at?
Yes, ma'am. To repeat the question, she was inquiring that one of our residents pressed her pendant and it did not work. I will bring that up to Leslie as well as the maintenance department. I want to say sometime last year we did a huge event where residents came down and had their pendants checked. I will remind all residents that at any time you can always go to the front desk and have your pendant checked. And actually, since we are hearing about this occasion, just go ahead and stop by on your way home, or if you're out in the corridor area, and test it to be sure it's still working. So I will advise all residents to do that 2 times a month. Stop at the front desk and have that tested. But I'll make sure that Leslie Haas, our resident services director, as well as Darwin, is made aware of that, so we can do the long haul again where residents come down, test it, and so that we don't have any situations like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tiffany, would you mind everybody that jammers are coming back?
Yes, sir. The jammers will be in the town hall. Let me check right now the exact date.
I think it's the 25th.
Yes, we will. The 25th. Yeah. We will have the jammers in the town hall at 7 p.m. Same setup as this right here. We will be socially distanced, and we're so excited to have them back. So it's starting to feel like Regency Oaks is getting back to what will be our new normal. So we're excited about that.
Yay for the dream.
Yay for the jammers. That's right. Do we have any more questions? I will tell. Oh, yes.
I've got another one I want to mention. When can we expect to get our side doors open? It's very inconvenient, and even at weekends, the strangers pouring through the doors. We don't know who they are. They're not being checked. So it doesn't really deter people from coming in. I just wondered if you had a time frame for that.
Yes, so what she asked was that when will the side doors be open? I do know that Brent has requested it last week to corporate, so we sent them a list of requests to see if they would approve it here on campus. We unfortunately have not heard back yet, but as soon as Brent knows, he will either update whether they did let us move forward or if they didn't.
Okay.
So we will update you as soon as possible. Great. I will let Brent know you missed him, and have a great day. Thank you.